Hallo liebe Schüler und Schülerinnen. I want to explain to you today how to use adjectives when there is no preceding article. There is no der word and there is no ein word. And you should have out on your desks your handout from chapter 8 on adjective endings. At the top there was a chart that had adjective endings after der. The bottom was an adjective ending chart after ein, and if you flip the paper over, you'll see a chart that explains what adjective endings are after when there is no article. And so your chart should look something like this. And this is a totally different looking chart than we saw before. Imagine that there is no word the or a before a word. You just want to say good ideas, or you just want to say bad boys, or you just want to say hard lessons, and you don't want to have the or a in front of the word. Then these are your adjective endings, and they're kind of logical. This looks like der, die, das, and die in plural. This looks like den, die, das, and die. This should look dative, dame, der, dame, and dane. Where this would normally be des in genitive, des, der, this des changes to en. I will not be focusing on that in German 3. That's a much higher level German to remember. I'm focusing on nominative, accusative, and dative. But the adjectives will now look like a der word. Okay? Let me show you some examples. You see the chart at the bottom, and I have a sample sentence. I say, Ich höre gern die moderne Musik. Well, if I want to change and I want to get rid of this word die, and I just want to say I like to listen to modern music, I have to make sure that this word modern has an adjective ending on it that would look like that word die. Okay? So in that case, I would just write Ich höre gern moderne Musik. Right? The next sentence says Das blonde Haar gefällt mir gut nicht. And my first phrase in this sentence, Das blonde Haar, is the subject. And we have an e on there because after das you just put an e on the adjective. But if I get rid of das and I just say blonde hair is pleasing to me, the word blonde has to show that that hair is a neuter word. So I take the das and put it on the adjective. Blondes Haar gefällt mir nicht. And I get that from right here. Okay, blondes Haar. And the reason I do that is because this adjective without that ending it does not reflect in any which way. Haar is masculine, feminine, or neuter. It almost acts like a der word. All right? So here's the next sentence. Die alten Filme sind oft langweilig. In this sentence, the word Filme is plural, and it's the subject. So I'd be looking here. Okay? If I get rid of die in my sentence and just say old films are boring, then I would say alte Filme sind oft langweilig. I use the der word as the adjective ending. In this sentence, der starke Kaffee schmeckt mir nicht. This is the proper adjective ending following a der word. But if I take away der and I want to say strong coffee doesn't taste good, then the word stark has to act like the der word, and I would say starker Kaffee schmeckt mir nicht. In this sentence, Kaffee is not the subject. I know that because it says den. Hat den starken Kaffee getrunken. And in this sentence, if I take away the den and just say he drank strong coffee, the word stark has to look like a den word. So I would simply say hat starken Kaffee getrunken. All right? Then there's one more thing that you should know. Sometimes adjectives follow these three words, nix, etwas, and viel. And they're not der words, they're not ein words, they're kind of a group unto themselves. It explains a quantity. Nix is a quantity of nothing. Etwas is an indefinite quantity, some, you don't know how many. And viel is a large quantity but indefinite. And when you use these phrases, for example, in the first example, if I use viele, I know the word is plural. Ich habe viele guten Sachen über ihn gehört. And I put guten because the word is plural, and an is always the adjective ending in plural. But when I use viel, what I'm going to show you here is I'm using the word gut as a noun. We did this in the previous chapter where we capitalized the noun. I heard a lot of good about him. And when I make that word good a noun, I capitalize it. And following this word viel, I'm always going to add an es to that noun. Viel Gutes. Okay? Über ihn gehört. I heard a lot of good about him. Wir lesen keine besonderen Bücher. Again, Bücher is plural, so the word special gets an en because we're in plural. But if I take away Bücher and make it a noun and make special a noun, I'd say wir lesen nichts Besonderes. And I capitalize it because now the adjective is a noun and I add es to it. And this only happens when it follows the words nichts, etwas, und viel. Do I add the es to the noun? Literally saying we aren't reading anything special. Yeah, nothing special. Wir haben etwas Schönes für meine Mutter gekauft. We bought something pretty for my mother. And this word pretty is an adjective, but in this sentence it's being used as a noun. So I capitalize it and I add es to it. Yeah, etwas Schönes. Etwas Lustiges. Etwas Schweres. Etwas Komisches. Etwas Braunes. Whenever you use etwas followed by an adjective, it acts like a noun, and you'll have to put es on the noun. The same thing with nix. You can use any adjective after nix as you please. Wir machen nix Wichtiges, nothing important. Wir lesen nix Interessantes, nothing interesting. Yeah? Or the same thing with viel. Always make that adjective a noun and add es. Ich habe viel Teures gekauft. A lot of expensive things. Yeah? Any adjective you want, just add es to it when followed by nix, etwas und viel. So in this sentence, was hast du am Wochenende gemacht? And if you were to answer nothing special, you would say nix Besonderes. Was willst du für deinen Freund kaufen? How would you say something expensive? Etwas Teures. And was hast du heute gelernt? A lot of interesting things. Viel Interessantes. Okay? Das ist alles jetzt. Und das ist alles, was du brauchst, ja, für deine neue Aufgaben. Viel Glück. Morgen bin ich wieder hier. Tschüss.